we will shift gears now to our advanced users. Okay, and so if you are an advanced user, yes, you can get very degen, very degen with rapid fire, and make some extreme profits, right? And by the way, the profits that you saw from Max 420 and myself, let me go to that, right? These 3% per day, right? 5.4% per day. These are settings that we didn't get too advanced with those settings. We mostly stuck with the beginner settings, and didn't get too crazy. I think you can see on a couple pairs I used ADX for this paper test. But again, these results, paper trading results, are different from live trading, and you're going to want to do your own setup. Okay, and so with your for our advanced users, you can start to really lean in on those beginner risk settings. Okay, I want to see you guys, especially for alts, you can start to really dial in and optimize for certain market conditions, as long as you're prepared to change when even short-term market changes. You might need to go and edit your alerts. Okay, but you can get really good trades out of it if we happen to be in the middle of a pump. Okay, and so what does that look like, right? This is like on link here. We went up to a 5, right? So because a 1, we're missing out on this little bit of price action here. So a 5 on longs, right? A little bit heavier on the longs, and all of a sudden you get a lot more price action here. And it looks like we're bottoming out here, right? So you get a few longs, and on the run up there as well. Okay, and yeah, and then yeah. So what are we doing here? Okay, yeah. So uptrend. Yeah. So when you're doing this sort of stuff, when you're changing those settings, you want to check what the overall market condition is, right? Are we in an uptrend or a downtrend? That's going to determine whether you're going to go heavy on longs or heavy on shorts. And so this is an example, in an uptrend, like we just saw on link, that's where you're going to go 5 to 7 on longs, 1 to 3 on shorts, right? And once we go into a dump, that is where you can go heavier on shorts, right? 3 to 4, maybe 5, 6 if it's a really big dump, then it might be advantageous, right? Going a little bit higher on the shorts, but yeah, and then lower on longs, right? 1 to 3 on longs is what I would say. Yeah, so I think that's useful. Yeah, so beyond that, I want to show you guys how to really dial it in. And yeah, so we do have a drop threshold on the okay, I'll show you this on Bitcoin. How's that? So you can see our default drop threshold is 10%, right? And this is good for most of the time, right? These are really low risk trades, right? They're getting out tons and tons of room to get out of these trades. But if you want to start dialing in, you can start to go lower, right? If I go 8, you can already see more trades coming in, right? This means that it's only waiting for an 8% dump before it starts longing, right? Go to 5%, even more trades, right? And so this is a tool to use. Okay, rapid fire advanced settings. You're an advanced user. You want to start getting more trades. You want to have a more profitable account. Yeah, start going to 5. Below 5, it starts to get really degen. Like you'll see, like if I go 1, right, it just it's a little bit crazy, right? It goes crazy, and you're taking longs as prices dumping. That's not good, right? So use it sparingly. Yeah, so that's kind of how we're looking at that. And then, yeah, like I said, if you're under 5%, this is just a short-term setup, right? You've set it up for 5%, and you're just waiting for that move to be over. Then you're going to move it up to 8%, 10% when that move finishes. Okay, but for you degens out there, that's the way to do it. Okay. Okay, now something to really clean up your charts is the high time frame filters. Okay, and so this is something. It's not really going to. What you can do, you can reverse on first counter signal. So this is basically your chart time frame, right? If I'm on a 15-minute time frame, I can reverse as soon as when you see C for current time frame, C15, it's going to reverse there. If you wait for the high time frame, which is a 60-minute here, it's going to wait until you have a high time confirmation. So you can see here, like 15-minute on current time frame, 15-minute didn't reverse. But if you wait for your high time confirmation, then it's going to reverse higher. It's going to give you better trades, right? And it's taking shorts only from the top of the move. So it's a little bit better. You can really, especially for if you're trading on 15-minute or lower, if you want to be super degen, 5 minutes, you can use that high time frame confirmation. And something interesting I wanted to show you guys: the settings for high time frame counter trend are a little bit different than the current time frame. So if you use 15 minutes on here, you can start to see some good results. I don't like that one, right? I don't like to see that. I'd rather have it on first time on 60-minute. But yeah, the settings are different. So if you do high time frame confirmation on the same time frame as your chart time frame, then it can give different results. Again, advanced users only for this this advice, or not financial advice, but instruction, let's say. 240 is default on high time frame, so this really keeps you guys safe, right? It's only looking for high time frame moves. But yeah, 15 minutes or 60 minutes on high time frame, and then changing that reverse condition to high time frame confirmation, it does work. Okay, and then for a faster reversal, right? This is to have a more reactive chart. You do that reverse on first counter signal. Most of the time, I have this setting. Okay, so most of the time that works really well. Okay, and 15 minutes chart is really good. Max 420 was using 30-minute. Oh, sorry, no, it was Max 420 is using 15-minute. Slizzard is using the 30-minute time frame, and he's really enjoying that. And he actually said, using those beginner risk settings 1 through 10, he says it's like a video game. It reminds him of the early days of using the bots. So I really like that comment. Reminds me of the early days as well. And yeah, and so yeah, you if you are using a low time frame, 15-minute, you may need to increase, especially on alts, you might need to increase your risk settings to 4 to 6 on longs, or if it's in a big short, big bear market kind of thing, 4 to 6 on shorts. Okay. And yeah, so now we're going to get into the filtering. Okay. And yeah, what I like to say with that is MFI is really like a sniper for a filter, right? It snipes the absolute tops and the absolute bottoms. Most of the time, a 70-30 is going to work for you. But if there's something specific you don't like on your chart, right? Like if you really want to risk off on shorts in a bull run, and it's switched, and you want to just grab the most high quality shorts, then you can move this up to a 40, right? That can work really well, and filter out those last few stragglers, right? Those last few shorts at the bottom of a move before it flips long. And you can do that, right? Or if you want to use a higher take profit percentage, like a 1%, that's another example where you can do that. So yeah, the ranges that we're looking at for MFI is a 60 to a 90 on longs. And so 60 will be very aggressive, right? It will cut out a lot of trades, but you can really, lean in to your trades, maybe bigger position size. So it's something to consider, right? If you want to have lower risk trades, you can bring that down. If you want MFI to just be filtering out absolute tops, then you want to be bringing that to a 90. Same with MFI min, which is for shorts. You're going to want to bring that, if you want to only catch the absolute bottom, then you bring that down to a 10. I honestly find 30 to be very good for most situations, but you can look at changing that. Something I should mention is most of the MFI is on by default with the beginner risk settings, and you will check this box for custom rapid fire MFI filtering if you want to override beginner mode. Okay, so this is only if you want to override the settings. But if you change this without clicking that box, they won't do anything. Okay, just a little note there. And so for shorts, again, if you want to be very, very aggressive on your filtering and only have high quality shorts, you could move MFI min to a 40 on your shorts. And so you'll have a lot more room for trades to get out. It looks very good. Okay. We're going to move along to ADX filtering. Okay, so ADX, we've gone through this a lot. It's basically works the same way as it does on your SAR and your reversal and multi-range. But basically, range low is filtering out trades that come in too early. And it's basically like before a move is done, you'll start to see trades in the wrong direction. You're going to adjust that, right? So I like to use between 20 and 40 for the range low. And then trades that are coming in too late, you're going to use range high. Okay, and I would say most of the time I just have this at 50 because MFI is doing its job and the ADX maybe picks up a few more stragglers. But if you really want to make a very tight range for ADX, like 30 to 40, yeah, you can like range low 30, range high 40. Yeah, it is definitely possible. Okay, and then HMA filtering. Okay, on by default. Okay, I most of the time I would just say don't mess with it. All right, this is something where it's gonna do a pretty good job. And so it's set for default 60 minutes. I like that. And if you want to be a little bit more conservative, right, and only catch the big moves, you can move this to a 240 to basically a 4 hour. And so that will help you potentially on to really stay on the right side of the market if you want to run very, very low risk. But most of the time, I would say 60 minutes is good enough. If you really want to be degen, you can turn HMA off. That's really for degen users only. Turn HMA off if you really want to get like max amount of trades, right? If you really want to just dial it in more than HMA is allowing, you can turn that off. But in most cases, I would say don't do that unless you really know what you're doing. And it's only really useful to have to turn off HMA if you're trading really high time frames or your degen. And HMA length, I have not played around with this too much, but I do find if you bring HMA length down, it will react faster. So you maybe could filter out some more trades and have it react faster to changing trends. But in general, I like how 13 is. So HMA leave alone. ADX, 20 to 40 range low, 30 to 50 range high. You're going to be happy. And then MFI 70-30 is pretty good. But if you want to be a bit more aggressive with your filtering, bring it to a 60-40. And that's basically it, guys. There's not too much to do here. This is really the one of the easiest bots we've ever had to set up. Again, It doesn't react to macro market trends changes like a SAR V5 would. And so you're going to want to really look at changing those settings if there's a big macro change in a trend, okay, and really optimize for the current market. And so this is a bit more active management when you have those big changes, but generally you're going to be good leaving it for weeks and months at a time if the trend stays the same as it really has. You know, in 2023 we've seen it from January to July. You would have been able to use pretty much the same settings throughout all of that and been pretty good, unless you're trading on low time frames or you want to be really degen and get lots of trades by bringing down your drop threshold. All right, guys, I have talked enough. I think that really gives us a good quick start guide for our advanced users and our beginner users, and gives you guys a good sampling of what Rapidfire can do for you. Again, we're always available in that Rapidfire channel if you have more questions.